Hey y'all. So today we're talking about the whole journey of me going from being on food stamps to being a millionaire. I think a lot of people have this misconception that it's like when you become a millionaire, that you become the millionaire when you have the money. No, you become the millionaire way before you ever get the money. See, the thing about identity work and when we're talking about the self image, when we're talking about our mindset, I had to have a mindset shift back then. So I'll never forget, y'all, this was in 2022, right? We're on food stamps. We're living it. Y'all, it was amazing. I'm going to tell y'all straight up, like, listen, them food stamps was hidden. But then God brought us to a place at the beginning of the year where they basically came and told us that they were taking us off. Because oftentimes, when God is getting ready to change your life, what He will do is He will start to remove the things that make you comfortable. He'll start removing the things that's actually keeping you stuck. So when you start seeing the loss of things, loss of relationships, when it starts feeling like, things that you once found comfort in and things that once felt like they were your comfort zone. I think about like that food stamps, y'all, that was a security blanket. It was comfortable. But see, God removed that from us and it really changed our mindset because now there was no government assistance. There was no buffer that we could fall back on and we had to really figure something out. And so I remember how, you know, I went to my husband at the beginning of 2022 because everything in life starts with a decision. Write that down. Everything in life starts with a decision. It's either going to be 2 day or it's either going to be 1 day or day one. Listen to that. It's either going to be 1 day or day one. I rather day one, and your day one can literally be today. And you don't even gotta wait 4 years like I did. Girl, I'll give you the game. I'll give you the play, okay? But like when God took that away, it really forced us to get creative because all money is an idea. So if God is giving you an idea, it's because God is wanting to make you wealthy. God is wanting to make you a millionaire. And so then after I told my husband, I said, baby, I said, give me a year. I'm going to do 6 figures. I didn't know how I was going to make 6 figures. I didn't know how God was going to do this for me. But one of the things that God really started with, and I'm going to tell y'all, your step one is you got to start changing your mindset. You got to really start changing how you see yourself. Because growing up, I grew up with a mom who always told me I was a mistake, that I didn't matter. I was always called a liar. So I was always told that I talked too much. And so it was almost like I was either afraid of my own voice, afraid of my own power, or afraid of my own shadow. But then when I started to really realize that, you know what? No, like God calls me fearfully and wonderfully made. God has called me His daughter. And I started to see myself the way God saw me. God sees you as wealthy now, not later. God sees you as abundant now, not later. So every single time you're creating wealth, it starts in the now. Faith, it says now faith. It is a now thing. Faith is not in your past. It's not even in your future. It's in what are you doing in this moment, in this decision that you have today. And in that moment, I decided that I was going to change how I saw myself. So I started to change how I dress. I started to change how I did my hair because one of the greatest things that we don't understand is the power of the mirror. That when we look in that mirror, what do we see? When we look at that mirror, how do we feel? What are the thoughts that's going through your mind when you look at yourself in the mirror? And I started to change the thoughts that I had about Takaya. See, God knew the plan He had for me. God knew the thoughts He even had for me. But you want to know why God's thoughts towards me wasn't changing my life? Because I hadn't started to think the way He thought about me. So if you're sitting there, you're like, sis, I know Jeremiah 29:11 says, God has these thoughts for me, but why is it not working for me? It's not working because you haven't adopted those thoughts. So one of the things you're going to have to do is you're going to have to start adopting God's thoughts. That's how we go into the God zone. That's how we get into the zone where our prayers are answered quickly. We see everything happen. The Bible says that perfect love casts out all fear. You know why I'm not afraid of failure? You know why I'm not afraid of like success or messing up or getting it wrong? Because I walk and live as a daughter who's loved and I see myself as somebody who's loved. A lot of you are afraid to make a mistake because you have not really begun to comprehend the love of God. So I started to see myself through the lens of God's love and God's grace and mercy. So when I made a mistake, I made a bad investment, I didn't do something as quickly as God wanted me to do. It was as simple as God forgive me and I go and take that action. I go and move, right? And so like I said, coming back over to self-image, I really had to start seeing Takaya differently. And one of the ways that I started to see Takaya differently is I started to talk about her differently. So I started to call her a millionaire. I started to tell her, I believe in you. I started to validate myself. A lot of you are waiting on validation from friends. Their voice is not the most important voice in your life. Yours is, because your voice is what is creating your subconscious beliefs. Every belief you have right now, you had to come into agreement with it first. So if you didn't come into agreement with that thought, then that thought can't change your life. But I had to get my thoughts in alignment with God. And when I did that, man, it was all of a sudden, because I want y'all to understand the power of getting your thoughts in alignment with God. The power of getting your thoughts in alignment with God is that now the world starts to respond to you like God would respond to you. Now you start to see people respond to you differently. People start wanting to bless you because now you're no longer thinking like a failure, because the Bible says, as we think, so are we. So our thoughts create our life. I teach this all day, every day, and I will preach it till I die, that the most important thing to me is our thought life. I know strategy. I know logic. I can teach you the content. I can teach you all the things. I know how to do them. I know how to write the offers, build a sales page. But you know what I found is this, is that when you get into the zone, the money zone, and that is when you get into the zone where you actually start to believe in you, people start to reciprocate that. How you treat yourself is in direct correlation to how people treat you. So I can't get mad if people dog me out, don't value me, don't pay my worth if I treat myself like I'm not valuable. So as I started to treat Takaya differently, I started to even, I keep my word to myself. Listen to this. Your word is your bond. And if you tell yourself you're going to do something, you got to learn how to do that thing. Because every time you don't do what you tell yourself you're going to do, you're teaching your mind to work against you, not for you. You're either going to be a generational curse breaker or a generational curse keeper. If I'm a generational curse breaker, I take action. I think correctly. I speak correctly. I show up, right? I trust God. But the generational curse keeper, procrastinator, overthinker, second guessing herself, not doing the things she know to do. I know I'm lighting a fire under your butt. Y'all let me know in the comments. Am I lighting a fire under you to do what you need to do? But my thought life, I really had to change how I thought. And when I gave myself a word and said, I'm going to do this, I started to really do it. If you tell yourself you're going to make 10K, then I want for you to do everything in your power every day to go make that 10K, right? If I tell myself that I'm going to do something, if I'm going to be something, I keep my word to myself. And so that's why I show up like I do. Everybody's like, Takaya, you're so consistent. But I'm consistent because I don't tell myself I'm going to do something I'm not going to do, because I know the cost of that. Do you know the cost of your procrastination? Do you know the cost? This is why I had to glow up, because I grew up in my mind, because your inner world creates your outer world. And if you never step into your money magnet mindset, you're not going to live your money magnet life. That's what I teach you how to do, is live your money magnet life. And if you want to learn how to do that, I got a challenge. It's only $33. It's crazy. Most people teach you, it used to be $600, $1,400 just for you to learn how to change your life. I want to show you to do that for $33. And if you check the description below, you're going to see that link. The money just keeps on coming. You learning how to do 10 to 50K months, how to get everything you want. Because that's been one of the things, is that I am God's spoiled daughter. One of my clients became a millionaire in 3 months. Why? Because I told her how to be the spoiled daughter. A lot of you, I said this in my last video, if you keep living like a beggar, you can't expect to get the benefits of a believer. If you keep living like you're in lack, you can't expect, you don't get to think lack and then manifest abundance. So you want 77K months, you want to become a millionaire, you want to drive the G-Wagon. But here's the thing, it all starts in the mind. Because your mind is creating your life, your self-image, how you see yourself. So from now on, I want you to start seeing yourself as great. I am powerful. I am capable. I am a money magnet. I am the money magnet. That's one of my power one. You want a power affirmation? I am the money magnet is one. That is what I live by. And I'm going to go deeper in this over a few parts. But y'all, this is just part one today. Start with your mind. What are you thinking every day? What are you saying to yourself? Because every single thing you say is actually creating a new belief. So if you don't change what you're saying, you can't, you're reaffirming and you're reiterating those beliefs. Think of it like this. Every word you say is either feeding what you want or feeding what you don't want. So check your mouth and you'll start seeing a change in your mind, okay? Check your actions too, because your actions does this as well. But we'll be going through all this, y'all. But y'all, like, subscribe, get inside of my channel below. Only $33. I pray this blessed you, but learn how to keep your word to you.